What's going on, America? This is Kevin from Kevin's Corner, and been listening to Elizabeth Warren's response to Molly Tibbitt's murder. And I wonder sometime, do they ever screen the words that come across their brain? I mean, before you speak normally, you see the words, the sentences in your head before it comes out. And there's already a feeling that the Democratic Party and the left care more about illegal immigrants than they do American citizens. And she has an opportunity to simply focus on what happened to Molly and some possible solutions to solve it, or even recognizing how the current broken system allowed it to happen in the first place. But what does she do? She says, yeah, I'm sure the family feels real bad, but we should really take this time to focus on immigration reform, things that really count or matter, and talking about separation of kids on the border. Didn't recognize this kid that is permanently separated from their parent. She pivots to go straight to border control or lack of border control, and focusing on the families on the border who these are real problems, real issues. I'm sure that if you recognize the fact that a family member that passes away because of something that could have been avoided, to them, that is everything. To them, they probably would trade every illegal immigrant's kid for their daughter. If they could choose between sending 100% of illegal immigrants back across the border with their children, regardless of them wanting to have a better life, versus their daughter, they would say, get rid of all 20 million or however many that's come here throughout the years, send them all back and bring my daughter back. But apparently Elizabeth Warren can't understand that. These things aren't the most serious pressing matters in her mind. There's more pressing matters. And instead of talking about how we can plug up the leak when it comes to immigration, she talks about how we can focus on making sure that families aren't separated from kids. And I have to wonder, where's her PR person? Where's her speechwriter? Where's her counsel that says, look, whatever you do, don't go out there and seem or come across insensitive to what just happened to this lady, and then have the nerve to bring up some stuff that, frankly, the average American, when it comes down to their lives, their family members' lives, they don't care about illegal immigrants. Now, granted, if it's not impacting them, maybe because they're not focused on the impact that illegal immigrants could have on our country, they may hear a sob story on TV, designed to pull at their heartstrings and go, that's so sad, we shouldn't do that. But when something like this happens, it brings home the reality that, wait a minute, certain things wouldn't happen if we would have did something about it. It's cause and effect. If you don't deal with illegal immigration, then when things like this happen, they might be rare, but nonetheless, they're avoidable. So when they happen, it brings to the attention to any logical thinking person, man, if this human was not in the country, this would have never happened. And I watched Juan Williams yesterday that was trying to make an excuse for, statistically speaking, more people in America, y'all trying to make this one person seem like, this is accounting for all that. And I'm going, see, Juan, see, there you go again, Juan. The left don't think how normal Americans, hardworking Americans, think. They belittle, minimize the impact that their policies have on everyday Americans. And you're saying to yourself, I'm all about a humanitarian cause, but not at the expense of American tax dollars, not at the expense of American lives, none of that stuff. So then what is the real agenda? Why are y'all fighting so hard to dilute our immigration, policies, to make sure you resist the wall, to make sure you support illegal immigrants coming in? Why are you fighting so hard? Even though you're supposed to be accountable to your constituents, you don't even care. It's like, you know what? I'm not even going to check the pulse of the average American citizen and see how they feel about all of this stuff. I'm just going to assume that everybody is okay with our fake humanitarian cause of securing all of these illegal immigrants and keeping the immigration laws flimsy and vulnerable for people to come in and just take advantage of us. I mean, are they doing surveys? Are they talking to average American citizens? Surely they're not going to go and talk to her Molly's mom and dad. Surely they're not going to go talk to all the other victims of illegal immigrants that should not have been here and ask them, what do you think about these policies? No, they're not going to do that. And so you stick a camera in Juan Williams' face and you stick a camera in Pocahontas' face, and that's what falls out of their mouths. And I'm thinking, did you scan this across your brain first? Did you say, hey, brain, how's this going to sound on the outside? How will people perceive what I'm saying? What message am I going to send? What signal? Especially considering Elizabeth Warren having plans to run for president, obviously, and showing up front where her priorities are when it comes down to American citizens versus illegal immigrants. And this is why I don't understand how any practical thinking American can vote Democrat. I just don't understand it. Nothing about their policies help Americans. Nothing. I can't think of one thing right now. Medicaid, their medical policies, all the things that Medicare, all of that stuff. Nothing. That doesn't help us. You can't afford medical insurance because you're trying to go to a socialistic approach, and we can't sustain that. So that's not helping anybody. You just because you have medical insurance on the books but can't afford the copay or nothing like that doesn't mean anything. So that doesn't help. Their global agenda does not help Americans. Their push for trade that benefits everybody but average American citizens. Nothing about their policies help Americans. Their approach towards law and order doesn't help Americans. Their desire to get rid of ICE, their socialistic movement, nothing. Even their tactics in campaigning. Identity politics does not help Americans. All it does is divides us, makes us vet against each other so that they can separate and conquer and divide and then reap the benefits of the voting by making false promises. They are anti-Christianity. I mean, let's be real. Anything that revolves around the Christian Bible, it's like, you know what? We don't like that because it steps on our feelings, and we don't want anything to shear our conscience when we push garbage legislation into society and force everybody to believe what all of the liberals want, to push into our society. So Christianity has a tendency to get on my nerves and on my conscience. So let's go ahead and demonize Christians. Yeah, they don't like nothing about America. They don't respect our flag. They don't respect our military. They don't support the military. It's horrible. The policies, the whole agenda, everything about the Democratic Party sucks. So, if anybody with just a bit of brains was to look at the Democratic Party, how can you vote for them? How can you support that? I mean, they will sell out Americans at the drop of a hat, and they show it every single day. The guy in New York, Como, America was never great. You got people on CNN talking about and Fox News is the only, they're out talking about some girl in Iowa. Fox News is the only one covering this. I mean, all the other stations like, this don't fit our narrative. Let's bury this. Even though we were reporting about the whole disappearance of this girl, because we didn't assume that when she was found it would be an illegal immigrant that was responsible for this. But once we found that out, this was no longer breaking news. This wasn't a serious situation. Let's move on to Michael Cohen and all of them. The Democratic Party don't respect law and order. They just suck. They suck. They do. There's no other way to put it. They suck. And for those out there that's supporting that sucky party, walk away. right now. Right now. Just go down the list of their policies and tell me how they benefit us. Any of them. How they benefit Americans. So if you want to just unravel all the progress we made thus far, even for those that are so blinded by their hatred for Trump and their manipulation by the media and by the Democrats, if you look at the benefits of your life right now, do you really think by getting rid of President Trump, say they impeach him, do you really think that that is going to make your life better or worse? Don't you see what would happen if you got a job right now and you're a liberal? Okay, you might not like Trump's temperament. You might not like his attitude, the words he say, none of that stuff, his past behaviors, all of that stuff. But where you will realize you've made a mistake is if you support the Democrats, they do something stupid because they're selfish. They don't care about you, really. They don't care how it will impact your livelihood or any of that stuff. They don't want you even to look at that. They want you to simply focus on Michael Cohen and Donald Trump's Russia collusion, this and that, and not focus on how the economy's booming, how your pockets are fattening, how America is safe. All of these things that really impact your life, they don't want you to look at that stuff. So what will happen is people will blindly go out there and vote for the Democrats thinking that all they're doing is simply getting rid of Donald Trump and all of his evil wickedness and his divisiveness and his racism. But what they're really getting rid of is their way of life. They will come after freedom of speech. They will come after Medicare. They will come after your freedom to carry or to protect yourself. They will come after almost everything. And they also are going to come after our economy because our economy is doing well. And the Democrats want you to rely more on government than more on our capitalistic society. And they will shut all that down. And they will implement more globalistic agendas, trade, all of that stuff. And you will see it then. And you'll be like, how did everything go wrong so quick? Well, the person who turned the whole ship around and made it float, then you guys, if you're emotional, go out, elect people who want to blow a hole in the side of the ship and sink it because you're not focused on the bigger agenda. You're caught up in all of these little things. So when you listen to people like Elizabeth Warren, Como, Cortez, all of these people running around, just bashing the president, not focusing on real things that impact your life, stop for a second. Get out of your feelings and say, how does the Democratic Party's agenda and policies benefit me personally? Not how they benefit illegal immigrants, not how they benefit people coming from broken, torn countries and asshole countries and countries that we can't vet. All of that stuff don't mean nothing to you. That ain't that important to you. You got to look at the stuff that matters in your life. Think about that when you go to vote in 2018 November. God bless you. Listen to Kevin's Corner. I ain't got my little steady cam, so I'm sitting there holding a video. Anyway, think about that. Find me on Facebook, Twitter. Oh, last night, unfortunately, my live radio blog talk show, we had a power outage in the whole area, and my show got cut tight. So next week, I'm going to have the same guest on again, finishing up what we were talking about last week. But find me on Facebook, Twitter, and if you want to support Kevin and Kevin's Corner, there's links in the bottom to do so. God bless. See you next time in Kevin's Corner.